creators, protectors, destroyers. This is Vaaksh, where the gods speak. I was not born as an ordinary being. My birth was a confluence of divine blessings, a moment where celestial energies converged to create a force that would shake the very foundations of the universe. I am Hanuman, the son of the wind, the devotee of Rama, the embodiment of unwavering strength and devotion. Long ago, in the sacred land of Bharat, the gods foresaw an age where darkness would rise, where evil would grow unchecked, and where Dharma itself would be threatened. To restore balance, the Supreme Being descended as Rama, the Divine Prince, the upholder of righteousness. But even the god needs an ally, a force of boundless strength and devotion, one who would stand as an immovable pillar against all adversity. And so, the heavens decreed my birth. My mother, Anjana, was a celestial maiden, cursed to be born on earth. She prayed with unwavering faith, seeking liberation, seeking purpose. Moved by her devotion, Lord Shiva granted her a boon. She would bear a son who would be unmatched in strength, intelligence, and courage. And so, by the divine will of Shiva, I took form. But my power did not come from Shiva alone. The very breath that gives life to the world, the force that moves the clouds, that shakes the mountains, that carries the whispers of the gods, Vayu, the mighty wind god, became my father. His essence flowed within me, granting me speed beyond thought, strength beyond measure, and resilience beyond all obstacles. The moment I was born, my spirit soared. I was filled with boundless energy, an insatiable curiosity, and a hunger to explore the vastness of existence. And so, as the golden sun rose over the horizon, I looked upon it with wonder, mistaking it for a ripe fruit hanging in the sky. With a single leap, I ascended, soaring higher and higher, my arms outstretched, ready to claim the celestial fruit as my own. But destiny had other plans. Indra, the king of the gods, mistook my playful leap for arrogance. With his mighty thunderbolt, he struck me down, sending me plummeting to the earth. My body fell lifeless, and my father, Vayu, raged with sorrow. The winds ceased to blow, the air stood still, and life itself began to suffocate. The gods realized their mistake. They descended, showering me with boons to restore the balance. Brahma granted me wisdom, Agni made me immune to fire, Varuna gave me invincibility against water, Yama freed me from the grasp of death, and Indra, the very god who had struck me down, blessed me with a body stronger than his own Vajra, the thunderbolt itself. And so, I was reborn, not as a mere child, but as a force of nature, as an unbreakable spirit, as the one who would walk the path of devotion and strength. This was only the beginning of my journey. My purpose had yet to be revealed, my path yet to unfold. For the time would come when I would meet the one to whom my heart would forever belong. My Lord, my Rama. Fate led me to the moment that would define my existence. Until then, I had roamed the forests, mastering my powers, seeking wisdom, and waiting though I did not yet know what I was waiting for. But destiny has its own way of revealing itself. It was in the sacred forests of Kishkinda that my true path began. The winds carried whispers of two wandering warriors, princes of the Ikshvaku dynasty, clad in bark and robes of ascetics, their eyes filled with divine radiance. They walked with grace, yet sorrow lingered in their hearts. I knew not who they were, but something within me stirred. My soul recognized them before my mind did. It was as if my very being had been waiting for their arrival. I took the form of a simple ascetic, masking my true self, and approached them with humility. "O noble ones," I said, Who are you? Who walked through these forests with such divine presence? What is it that you seek? And then, as if the universe itself had aligned in that single moment, he spoke. His voice was calm yet carried the weight of Dharma itself. I am Rama, son of Dasharatha, prince of Ayodhya. This is my brother, Lakshmana. We seek my beloved Sita, who has been taken from us. The moment I heard his name, my heart knew. This was my Lord. This was my purpose. The devotion that had been sleeping within me awakened with a force greater than the stormy winds that carried my father's might. I fell to my knees, bowing before him, my eyes filled with tears of joy. My Lord, I whispered, I'm yours, now and forever. There was no doubt, no hesitation. In that instant, my soul had found its home. My duty was clear, not just to serve him, but to give my very being to his cause, to stand beside him, to fight for him, to be the arms that would lift him in times of despair, the bridge that would carry him across the sea of hardship. I, Hanuman, had found my Dharma, and so I pledged my loyalty, not as a mere warrior, but as his most devoted servant. I led him to my king, Sugriva, and together we forged an alliance that would shake the very foundations of the world. The search for Sita had begun, and I knew, no matter the cost, no matter the challenge, I would find her, and I would return her to my Lord. For what is power without devotion? What is strength without purpose? I was not born merely to be mighty. I was born to serve Rama, to carry his name beyond the limits of time itself. And so, my journey had begun. A journey that would take me across the ocean, beyond the grasp of demons, into the heart of Lanka itself. The search for Sita led me to the very edge of the earth itself, to the vast and endless ocean that separated us from Lanka, the kingdom of Ravana. The demon king, powerful and arrogant, had taken the divine mother, my Lord's beloved, and hidden her within the heart of his golden city. The time had come for me to fulfill my vow, to prove that no force, earthly or divine, could stop my devotion to Rama. As I stood upon the shore, the Vanara army looked to me. Their eyes held faith, hope, and expectation. None among them could cross the mighty sea, but I was no ordinary being. Within me flowed the strength of Vayu, the power of the storm itself. If the skies stretched endlessly, then I would stretch further. If the winds raged wildly, then I would rage stronger. I bowed before my Lord in my heart, and then I soared. The earth trembled as I leaped, my form expanding, my body growing as vast as the mountains. The ocean roared beneath me, its waves rising in awe. The winds carried me, whispering songs of my father's blessing. I flew like the very Garuda himself, unstoppable, unshaken, unwavering. But the journey was not without its trials. The gods themselves wished to test me. First came Sarasa, the mother of serpents, her divine boon compelling her to devour anything that crossed her path. She rose before me, her mouth wide as the sky itself, blocking my way. But I was not one to be ensnared. I did not fight, for might alone does not win all battles. I bowed, I laughed, and I played her game. As she opened her mouth wider and wider, I shrank smaller and smaller until I slipped through effortlessly. You have passed my test, mighty Hanuman, she said, and with a blessing, she vanished. Then came Simhika, the demoness who lurked in the ocean's depths. She grasped my shadow, pulling me downward with a force unlike any other. But she had made a mistake. No chains could bind me. No grasp could hold me. With a single strike, I ended her, for evil has no place where Dharma stands, and so, at last, I saw the shores of Lanka rising before me, the golden fortress of the demon king gleaming under the moonlit sky. I descended, landing softly, shrinking my form, making myself as small as a cat. For strength is not just in power, but in wisdom. A battle unneeded is a battle already won. As I stepped into the enemy's land, I knew the fate of this war, the fate of my Lord's love, rested in my hands. I was alone in the kingdom of darkness, but my heart carried the light of Rama, and no force in this world or beyond could extinguish that light. Lanka, a city of golden towers and darkened hearts. As I moved through its shadowed streets, I saw wealth beyond imagination, but beneath its splendor lay the weight of cruelty and arrogance. This was the kingdom of Ravana, a ruler whose pride had blinded him to righteousness. I had come to find the mother of the universe, my Lord's beloved, Sita, and so I moved unseen, shrinking my form, my every step silent as the night breeze. I searched through palaces adorned with gems, where demons feasted and drank in reckless abandon. I saw halls filled with warriors, their weapons sharpened, their hearts hardened with Ravana's arrogance. But I was not deterred. My mission was clear, and my heart burned with the fire of devotion. Then, in the quiet of the Ashoka Vatika, beneath a tree that seemed to weep in sorrow, I saw her, Sita, the Divine Mother, the embodiment of purity and virtue, sat surrounded by demonesses who sought to break her spirit. But she did not waver. Her body may have been in Lanka, but her soul remained in Ayodhya, with Rama. She was unshaken, untouched by fear, as radiant as the moon amidst the darkness of night. I watched as Ravana approached, his voice dripping with false charm, his words laced with the poison of deceit. He offered her the riches of his kingdom, the throne beside him, but Sita was unwavering. She did not even glance at him. "I belong only to Rama," she declared, her voice like thunder amidst the storm. "Not even in my dreams can I think of another." Ravana's fury burned, but he knew he could not touch her. The very purity of her being was a fortress stronger than any wall. He stormed away, defeated by a woman whose strength was far greater than his own. Now was my moment. I emerged from the shadows, my form still small, unthreatening. "Mother," I whispered, bowing before her, "I come as a messenger of Rama." She looked upon me, her eyes filled with sorrow and longing. "Rama," she breathed, as if the very name was her lifeline. I stepped closer, revealing the ring of my Lord, the token of his love, proof that I was not an illusion, not a trick of her tormented mind. Tears filled her eyes, but not of weakness, of faith. "He remembers me," she whispered. "He comes for me." "Yes, mother," I assured her. "Rama will move mountains. He will cross oceans. He will burn Lanka to the ground if needed. No force in this world can stop him. This I vow." She smiled then, for the first time in long days of sorrow. But as she did, I heard the rustling of armor, the rising of voices. The demons had sensed my presence. My time of hiding was over. It was time for Hanuman, son of the wind, to show the demons of Lanka who they had dared to challenge. The moment of secrecy had passed. The demons of Lanka had sensed my presence, their roars filling the night air. But fear, no, I knew no fear. I stood before them, my form still small, but my spirit boundless. I had delivered Rama's message, seen Mother Sita's unshakable resolve, and now it was time for the demons to witness the fury of Hanuman. They came at me, weapons raised, eyes burning with the arrogance of their king. But I was not a mere warrior. I was the son of Vayu, the embodiment of strength, speed, and divine power. In an instant, I grew. My body expanded like the rising sun. My arms stretched wide like the great mountains. My roar echoed through Lanka like the thunder of the storm. They charged, but I was swifter. With a single sweep of my mighty tail, I sent them crashing into the walls of their golden city. I lifted their chariots as if they were twigs and hurled them into the night sky. Their arrows, their swords, nothing could touch me. I was the storm that Ravana had never prepared for. The battle raged, and their greatest warriors fell at my feet. Vaaksh, the son of Ravana, came riding in fury, his chariot drawn by fierce horses, his eyes burning with pride. But pride alone does not win against Dharma. I leaped, struck him down with the force of the very heavens, and left him lifeless upon the battlefield. Then came Indrajit, the most cunning of them all. He was no ordinary warrior. He wielded the weapons of the gods themselves. The mighty Brahmastra, a weapon of creation and destruction, was unleashed upon me. It struck, wrapping me in its celestial bonds, and I smiled. For though my body was bound, my spirit was free. I chose to be captured, not in defeat, but to look Ravana in the eyes, to deliver my lord's warning personally. Bound in chains, they dragged me to Ravana's court. There he sat, the 10-headed king, his arrogance towering as high as his golden palace. He looked at me with disdain. "Who are you, monkey, to bring chaos to my city?" He mocked. I laughed bold, fearless. "I am Hanuman, the servant of Lord Rama. I have come to warn you. Ravana, return Sita with honor, or prepare for the doom that awaits you." His laughter boomed across the hall, filled with the arrogance of one who believed himself invincible. "Burn his tail," he ordered. "Let him be a lesson to those who defy me." They wrapped my tail in cloth, soaked it in oil, and set it ablaze. But they had made a grave mistake. Fire does not harm the one who carries the blessing of Agni himself. Instead of pain, I felt power. The flames danced upon my tail, not as an enemy, but as an ally. I roared, breaking free of my chains, and then Lanka burned. With leaps and bounds, I set the city aflame. The golden palaces, the mighty towers, the very pride of Ravana, engulfed in fire. The demons ran in terror as the sky turned red with the wrath of Hanuman. Lanka, the land of arrogance, now trembled beneath the fury of devotion. And then, as the city burned, I soared into the sky, my work complete. But one place I did not touch, the Ashoka Vatika, where Mother Sita sat. For fire does not harm purity. Flames do not consume devotion. As Lanka smoldered, I returned to her once more, bowing before her. "Mother, my task here is done. I have delivered my Lord's message. Now, I return to him to prepare for the war that will bring you back home." She blessed me, her eyes shining with faith. "Go, Hanuman. Tell Rama that my heart is steadfast. I await him." And so, with a heart full of purpose, I turned, leaped into the skies, and flew across the ocean once more. For the battle had only just begun, and I was the herald of Rama's war. The ocean stretched before me once again, but this time, I was not just a messenger. I was the spark that would ignite a war. Lanka burned behind me, a warning to Ravana, a symbol of what was to come. The sky roared as I soared across the waves, my heart pounding with urgency. I had seen Mother Sita, heard her unwavering faith, and now I carried the most important message back to my Lord. When my feet touched the shores of Kishkinda, my vanara brethren rushed to me. Their eyes, filled with anticipation, searched my face for an answer. I raised my hand, my voice booming across the land. Jai Shri Rama. Sita is found. She waits in Lanka, steadfast and fearless. The forests erupted in cheers. The very trees seemed to tremble with joy. Our Lord would now know the truth. Our mission had not been in vain. Through the dense woods and over mighty rivers, I led my brothers back to Rama. And there, under the shade of ancient trees, he stood, my Lord, my King, my reason for being. His eyes, deep as the cosmic ocean, held a storm of emotions. He looked at me, and in that gaze, I saw longing, hope, and an unshakable determination. I fell at his feet. Lord, I have seen her, I said, my voice firm yet filled with reverence. Sita is in Lanka, imprisoned but unbroken. Ravana's temptations do not move her. His threats do not shake her. She lives only in your name, waiting for the day you come to bring her home. For a moment, silence filled the forest. Then, Rama's voice, steady as the mountains, echoed through the land. We marched for Lanka, and so, preparations began. Vanaras from every corner of the earth answered the call. Great warriors gathered under Rama's banner. The ground shook with the assembling of an army unlike any before. But an obstacle stood between us and our destiny. The ocean, vast and unyielding, separating us from Lanka. Rama, the Lord of Dharma, stood before the endless waves and, with folded hands, prayed to the ocean god. Days passed, and yet the waters remained still. It was then that Rama, in his righteous fury, raised his mighty bow, prepared to unleash an arrow that could dry the ocean itself. The ocean trembled. The waves rose in fear. The very heavens seemed to hold their breath. And in that moment, the ocean god appeared, bowing before Rama. "Forgive me, O Lord," he pleaded. "The laws of nature bind me, but I will guide you. There lies a great vanara, Nala, blessed with the knowledge of construction. Let him build you a bridge that will carry you to Lanka." Thus, the impossible became reality. With the hands of devotion, we build a bridge of stone and faith, floating upon the waters by the power of Rama's name. The mighty Setu, spanning across the ocean, stood as a testament to unwavering belief. Every stone, every grain of sand carried the energy of devotion, for even the rocks themselves bore the name Rama and refused to sink. And so, the army of Rama, an army of Dharma, of justice, marched toward Lanka. The sky darkened with the promise of battle. The earth rumbled with the footsteps of thousands. And I, Hanuman, the servant of Rama, the child of the wind, the harbinger of his justice, stood at the forefront, ready for the war that would shake the very heavens. The ocean had been conquered. The bridge to Lanka had been built. And now, the time for words had passed. The army of Lord Rama stood at the gates of Lanka, ready to unleash the fury of Dharma upon the wicked. I, Hanuman, the humble servant of Rama, felt the air tremble with the weight of destiny. The battle for Sita, the war for righteousness, had begun. The conch of war was sounded. The Vanaras roared as they stormed the golden city. From the walls of Lanka, demons poured forth, terrifying warriors, armed with cruel weapons, their eyes burning with arrogance. But we were not afraid. We were the army of Rama. With every leap, we struck down their soldiers. With every roar, we shattered their confidence. I, too, took to the battlefield, not as a mere warrior, but as the wind itself. I soared through the sky, plucking demons from their chariots, hurling them to the ground with earth-shaking force. I lifted massive boulders and crushed their fortresses. With my bare hands, I tore through their ranks, sending waves of terror through Ravana's forces. Then, from the depths of Lanka, came their greatest warriors. First was Prahasta, Ravana's commander, a demon of towering strength. He came at me, swinging a massive mace, but I was faster. I dodged, leaped, and with one mighty blow, sent him crashing to the ground, lifeless. Then came Nikumba, the sorcerer who wielded dark magic. He cast illusions, twisting the battlefield into chaos, trying to confuse us. But no illusion can deceive the eyes of Hanuman. I called upon my divine energy, expanding my form until I was as vast as the sky. With a single strike, I shattered his magic and sent him to his doom. One by one, the mightiest of Lanka's warriors fell. But then, Indrajit, the son of Ravana, emerged. He was no ordinary foe. He had defeated even the gods in battle. He wielded celestial weapons and fought with deception. He vanished into thin air, striking from the shadows. Even the bravest warriors struggled against him. And then, the unthinkable happened. Indrajit unleashed the deadly Nagapasha, a divine serpent weapon that wrapped itself around Rama and Lakshmana, binding them in coils of venomous energy. The battlefield fell silent. The sight of our Lord bound filled our hearts with despair. But I knew this was not the end. With all my might, I called upon the power of the wind, breaking through the enemy lines, dodging every arrow, every blade. I flew beyond the battlefield, beyond Lanka, to the Himalayas, where the great mountain of herbs stood. I needed the Sanjivani, the divine herb that could bring the fallen back to life. But there was no time to search. I did not hesitate. I lifted the entire mountain upon my shoulders. With speed unmatched, I carried it back to the battlefield, the wind roaring in my wake. As I returned, the scent of the divine herbs spread through the air. Their power seeped into Rama and Lakshmana, breaking the deadly spell, restoring their strength. The moment their eyes opened, the tide of battle turned. All warriors, seeing their lord rise once more, fought with renewed fury. The demons, seeing their greatest advantage lost, trembled in fear. And I stood beside my lord, ready for the final battle, ready to see the end of Ravana's tyranny. The battle raged like a storm tearing through the heavens. Lanka trembled, as the forces of Dharma and Adharma clashed in a war that would shake the very fabric of time. I had fought, I had burned Lanka, I had saved my lord's life, but now, the moment had come to face the one who had caused all this destruction. The time had come to meet Ravana, the demon king of Lanka. I had watched him from the shadows, seen his arrogance, his towering form seated upon a throne of gold. He was no ordinary warrior. He was a master of illusion, a conqueror of worlds, a king who had once challenged even the gods themselves. But I, Hanuman, feared nothing, for I carried the name of Rama in my heart. As I stepped onto the battlefield, Ravana's eyes locked onto mine. He stood tall, his 10 heads blazing with fury, his 20 arms wielding weapons of destruction. So, the monkey who burned my city dares to stand before me. He roared, his voice shaking the earth itself. Do you think you can challenge me? I stood firm. I do not fight for myself, Ravana. I fight for Dharma. I fight for Sita. I fight for Rama. And I fight to end your reign of terror. With a deafening roar, Ravana charged. He swung his mighty sword, a blade that had once cut through celestial beings. But I was the son of the wind. I leaped, twisting through the air, dodging his every strike. My fists met his chest, and the sound of thunder echoed through Lanka. Ravana staggered, but did not fall. He summoned his dark magic, hurling flames, spears of fire, arrows that could pierce even the mightiest of beings. But I was unstoppable. I grew in size, as vast as a mountain, my roar shaking the battlefield. I caught his weapons in my hands, crushing them as if they were nothing. Then, he raised his trident, a weapon blessed with the power of Lord Shiva himself. He hurled it towards me, a flash of destruction streaking through the sky. But I called upon my devotion, my faith in Rama, and with one mighty leap, I shattered his weapon before it could touch me. Ravana was powerful, but he had one weakness, his arrogance. He believed himself to be the greatest, but he had forgotten the might of true devotion. And so, with one final leap, I struck him with all my strength, sending him crashing into the ground. The demon king of Lanka, for the first time, had been brought to his knees. But I did not stay to finish him. His fate was not in my hands. It was in the hands of my Lord. I turned away, knowing that Rama would soon face him in the final battle. I had done my duty. I had shown Ravana the power of Hanuman, the power of devotion, the power of righteousness. The battle had reached its final moment. The sky burned red. The air was thick with the scent of war, and the earth trembled under the weight of destiny. The moment for which the world had waited had arrived. Rama and Ravana stood face to face. This was not just a battle of warriors, but of dharma against adharma, of justice against tyranny. I, Hanuman, stood behind my lord, watching as the mighty Ravana unleashed the full force of his power. Arrows imbued with dark magic, weapons forged in the fires of destruction, he used them all, but none could shake Lord Rama. Every arrow Ravana fired was met with one from my lord's bow, shattering it midair. The battle was a storm of celestial energy, shaking the heavens themselves. Ravana fought with the fury of 1,000 demons, but Rama was unshaken. The time had come. My lord, the incarnation of Vishnu, strung his celestial bow and called forth the weapon that would end this war, the Brahmastra, a divine arrow of unfathomable power. The battlefield fell silent. The skies darkened. As Rama released the arrow, it flew with the speed of lightning, piercing through Ravana's 10 hearts, shattering the very essence of his evil. The demon king of Lanka, once feared, once invincible, fell to the ground, his arrogance crumbling into dust. The war was over. Dharma had prevailed. The vanaras roared in victory. The gods themselves rained flowers from the heavens. But my heart was not in celebration. I turned my eyes towards Sita, the queen of Ayodhya, who had suffered in Ravana's captivity. My only wish was to see her reunited with Rama the moment she stepped onto the battlefield. I bowed before her, my devotion unwavering. But my test was not over. Before returning to Ayodhya, my lord decided to test my love, my devotion. Hanuman, Rama said, "You have done so much for me. Ask for any boon, and I shall grant it to you." I did not hesitate. I did not ask for wealth, power, or even liberation. I said, "My lord, I ask only for one thing, that I may always chant your name, that I may always serve you, in every birth, in every age, until time itself ceases to exist." Rama smiled. "So be it, Hanuman. You shall be eternal, and your devotion shall inspire the world for all eternity." That was the greatest gift I could ever receive. Not kingdoms, not immortality, but the chance to forever be at the feet of my Lord. And so, as we returned to Ayodhya, as the world celebrated Rama's victory, I carried within me the only thing that mattered, my devotion, my faith, my love for the divine. The war was over. Lanka had fallen, and righteousness had been restored. The world rejoiced. The gods themselves celebrated. But for me, Hanuman, my journey was far from over. My heart did not seek rest, nor did I crave glory. My only wish was to serve my Lord, Rama, until the end of time itself. As we returned to Ayodhya, the entire kingdom prepared for the grand coronation. My Lord would ascend the throne, and Dharma would reign once more. The people gathered in joy. The air was filled with music, and the golden city of Ayodhya shone like the heavens themselves. But in my heart, I knew my place. I did not belong to thrones or celebrations. I belonged at the feet of my Lord, forever his servant, forever his devotee. And then, the greatest moment of my existence arrived. As Rama sat upon his throne, he looked at me with kindness, with love, with the warmth of a father, a friend, and a master all in one. "Hanuman," he said, "you have done more than anyone. You have crossed the ocean, burned Lanka, saved my brother, carried a mountain, and stood by me in every moment. How can I ever repay you?" I folded my hands and bowed low. "My Lord, I ask for nothing but to always chant your name. Let me live for as long as your story is remembered. Let me be there in every yuga, every age, so I may remind the world of your greatness." A hush fell over the court. Rama, the Supreme One, smiled. "So be it, Hanuman. You shall remain in this world, untouched by time. You shall be wherever my devotees call my name. You shall be eternal, a beacon of devotion, a symbol of faith, and the greatest of all bhaktas." And so, I was blessed, not with kingdoms, not with riches, but with immortality in the name of my Lord. From that day on, I have walked this earth. I have remained in every temple where Rama's name is chanted, in every heart that prays with devotion, in every battle where righteousness must rise against evil. I do not seek heaven, nor do I desire liberation. My only wish, my only purpose is to serve, to protect, and to remind the world of the power of true devotion. Even now, in this very moment, as you listen to my story, know this: I am here. I am wherever the name of Rama is spoken with love. I am Hanuman, the servant of the divine, the protector of Dharma, and the eternal guardian of devotion. And I shall remain forever.